I do too.
Oh,
Sure.
do you not like this?
Yeah.
There's my email.
I'm
You
guessing
don't
that
want my email.
has a contact.
Sorry, the one button I wanna push is right behind the thing. There we go. Cool. Alright, first I wanna shout out, our new dean, Jen, having her as increased capacity for communication and, just highlighting, spotlighting different things on campus, so, you'll see a little bit of that, as we go through here, but, just a quick update on the middle school, we continue to, move there, and, we got the $208,000 from Lane County Community Health Council, and they are, or right now, Courtney is working with our community wellness class to design that space, and then like, it worked out where some people from a resiliency grant that we had wanted to come do a visit, and I was like, and they were available the same day they were doing design of that space, so they're gonna come out and have that conversation together, and then Lane ESD's CTE people wanted to do some highlighting of what we're up to, and I said, well, this is happening, so they're gonna come video that tour and design process and make a small video inside of it. So it's kind of a cool, like, at the same time, every conversation I had for 2 hours, we're like, we'll come to that, and it turned into a bigger thing, so. And I don't remember what date that is off the top of my head, I was like, I should know that. I wanna say, nope, that's today's date. Yeah, I'll have to look it up, I'll tell you.
Okay.
It might be March 18th, cause February 18th is in my head, but that's today, so it might be the March version of, nope, cause that's literacy night. Anyway, I'll look it up, I'll tell you. We are, oh, I thought we were, is this the one I sent you? I do have one thing, the master calendar should
Yeah, I was just
be
looking on that, on
where it
discussion
says board
items.
vacancy, we should
Yeah.
have
Master
a calendar. Yep, and that was my reminder on there to have that open for you, so, I'll skip that because we're gonna talk about it later, but, driver's ed, this is beginning parts of a big conversation in the county. Heidi Shayla from LCOG, who actually went to school here at some point in the past, is working to bring driver's education back, especially to rural spaces, and, we just had a meeting Friday, and us and Blatchley and Siuslaw are looking at a pilot in Western Lane County. The cool part right now is we're looking to train locals in our 3 regions to get trained to be trainers. And so I have dates I can share out, but if you know anybody who would make a good driver's ed instructor to take kids out and be, you know, use their brake on the passenger side and learn all the rules on how to teach it. There's a hybrid opportunity this summer. There's a couple summer dates that you have to be around. But if you have folks that might be interested, even if they can't do it this summer, send me their names, and then as we look at the next opportunity. But one of the hardest things to do is to get trained, and so there's like no trainers in this area.
Yeah, you usually have to go to like Western Oregon or go to the state to do that.
So Western Oregon is hosting a hybrid here, and there's like 3 days in the summer that you have to be there, and it'll be at Lane ESD instead of traveling to Western Oregon.
The other barrier to a lot, I helped start a driver's ed program in Douglas County, and so similar situation. The other barrier is the fees. Like, are they going to cover the fees for people to get their certification?
They're working on this model to bring fees from, like, right now it's in the $700 range to take a class if you go through a company.
And become an instructor.
No, well, are you saying to?
Well, to be certified instructor, because you also have to pay the state.
so let me double check it, but I think they're covering the cost for getting trained to be a trainer.
Awesome.
And then they're trying to design this program in a way that brings costs significantly down for the
Kids.
student level. Yeah. So it's early working on it, but it's exciting progress. And right now, figuring out who's gonna house or host the cars and who is, we're trying to get Lane the ESD to be the consortia lead to be able to apply for grants, cause LCOG can't apply for grants. And districts probably shouldn't take the liability of being the sole person and trying to do it in partnership with existing training companies as well. So there were 2 training companies on, I don't know if they're from Western Oregon or a training company, but anyway, there's this consortia of people that were on this call, so.
Are the schools that are looking to pilot also gonna help students with the resources they need to obtain their licenses? Like, a lot of students don't have access to their birth certificates, and they're like 2 pieces, and like, there's work that has to be done.
We do that already with Rosie, so we've got to the point that and you can do permit testing online now.
Yeah.
So we've helped a significant number of students get their permit and all the documentation you need to get that far. So we've navigated that part. Now we have kids able with a permit but no driver's education access, and so then it's, there's all the rules for how many hours you can drive before 18, but if you wait till 18, you don't need training, you just get in the car and go. Yeah.
So do students getting their driver's license have to go to Eugene to do that?
Florence has a DMV,
Yeah.
locally, so which is nice, hopefully that stays accessible.
And it's way more accessible, like, just also in terms of like line and,
Yeah.
Like, we've got.
You have to schedule out ways for tests, I think.
But yeah, testing is hard, I've only been in there for
If you do it through the DMV, it's a long ways out. If you do it through the private company, they contract with you and get in fine.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're doing driving testing anymore at the DMV, because I was gonna schedule my daughter,
Yeah,
Even-
like the only open
like
one for like Ontario.
well, even, yeah.
We're not a Bay.
Yeah.
I'll
But there's a company that they contract with that you can
to
get
do
into.
the
To do the
testing.
test, yeah.
That's the actual driving test.
Behind the wheel test.
We're avoiding that in my house. Oh, you can't test until you're 21, my
Too
bad. So I'll bring that up, we're meeting kind of monthly right now with this
Very
consortia
cool.
group, so, yeah, it's exciting, and originally it was gonna be us and Blatchley, and so was like us too, and so we've got a nice western cohort to try with all these, like,
Great.
processes, so.
I love it, that's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Heidi Shayla is a huge advocate. She's got, if anybody's interested, she sent like a report. She did all this research, and she went and took the classes to figure out what the barriers to getting trained are, and then wrote the report and called the people and said, yeah, this is why nobody can get trained. So she's done a good job. I met with her the first time probably about a year ago, and she's got the ball rolling big time right now.
Okay, one more question.
Yeah.
The state does have some rules around like paying the instructor who's doing the class and doing the like behind the wheels practice, like, so who's gonna be paying the space is a job, so it's like an hourly class, and the state has like minimums on how much that instructor is required to be paid to teach the class to the students and then take them out driving.
I don't know answers to that, but I'll take that back to the group next time we meet, which I think it'll be like March 15th or something around there, but it might be right after our next board meeting actually. So I'll try to meet with her too, but I think that's part of trying to figure out who's the host of a consortia, so that we don't have 3 districts trying to hire their own drivers instructors. We're doing the job of getting them trained, like finding people to get trained and finding kids that need trainers,
Yeah.
and then hopefully this consortia will move the dial on.
So so maybe I wasn't clear, are we just training people who can do the behind the wheel stuff, or are we also training the people to be able to teach a driver's ed class? Because the driver's ed class itself is what like gives you your break on the insurance and stuff.
Yeah,
and-
I think, so it's the full Western Oregon
Okay.
training, so I think it's both.
Okay,
Yeah, that's my understanding is it's the full
Sweet.
instructor, yeah.
okay.
And I'm happy to connect you, with Heidi if it's, like, it sounds like you have experience doing this and know the questions. If you wanna ever talk to her, she's awesome and
Yeah, I
she
think
loves,
it's great.
she loves Mapleton cause she's from here, so. Happy to put you in touch, so, I'll keep you posted on that stuff, but it's exciting, like, actually taking off right now, so. The SB 141 interim measures, the state board meets the 19th, tomorrow, to discuss this further, so I'm just planting the seed that, you guys should be tracking it and know about it. The Senate Bill 141 is the accountability bill, there's a ton of stuff in there, but one part of it is the interim measures, and it requires, districts to use one of 4 approved, platforms, assessments, to test kids 3 times a year, and then requires, districts to report those 3 times each year, like, on student, on the results of the testing. So far they've approved 3, which are, I forget their names right now. MAP, STAR, and the third one? iReady, yeah, and iReady, which are 3 of the most commonly used in the state, but their price point is all like between $10 and $13 a kid, which is high for, anyway, it's an unfunded mandate. There is some talk that for districts that are not in a contract with any of those 3, there's gonna be money. There was a meeting last Tuesday with state folks at it that said they think they have about a quarter of that cost. COSA sounded like it was gonna be fully covered, so I don't know where they think that money's coming from. I wanted to let you guys know I submitted a letter to the state board to ask for the 4th one to be the Smarter Balanced interim assessments. And 1, they're free, and 2, they're directly aligned to the end of year state testing that we're already required to have in place. And it's not like for me it's coherence, if that's the summative measure that we're being held accountable to at the state level, seems like we should have the tool that leads to that, and it is a more flexible tool than any of the other 3. So I won't get into benchmark and interim and all those things today, but I just wanted to let you guys know I was advocating for that to be the 4th one. The reason the 2 reasons that the state board said they didn't add it at the first meeting was that it's only available for 3rd through for grade through high school, and the bill requires K-8 assessments, and so you still have to get something for K2, but it brings that price point down, and there's ways to, you don't have to use the same tool for everything. And then there's not a Spanish version of it, and for dual language programs, that was a need. So, anyway, that's where we're at on it. I'll keep you posted if anybody has questions or just some looking up of things. Happy to talk more about that individually and as we move through their decisions, and we'll know more tomorrow. So that's that.
And does this just a question, does this replace any assessment? I know not for
Yeah.
us, but like,
Well, it's
does it replace a required, reporting assessments for the environment? Or just add it?
It's an addition. So I have 2 answers to that question. One, so we use Acadians at K5. We had a HMH tool. We have an HMH tool in place that I've reported on to you guys more often. With this switching We haven't done the HMH as much at, the upper grades, but Acadians we're using and we like it and we don't wanna go away from it, and so it's building our practice using that. Switching to something else that's more expensive doesn't mean more accountability, that's my frustration, it's like, let us put the thing we've been doing in place. One reason I like the interim measures is that the performance tasks can be used to align to portfolio development, that is the thing we're working on, and so, we can have work, and, so the second half of that question, in terms of reporting, our numbers at each grade level are I have to suppress that data, so I have to give you a report with no data. And so the state is aware of that, they're saying, well, you can report as grade bands and they're gonna give us ways to report, ways to meet the law that doesn't account for schools our size, which is a lot of us. And none of this data goes to the state. So in terms of accountability, I don't know what we're being it goes to you all. Like it's another required report, but which I'm fine with. I don't mind coming in and reporting data. I think that's great. But why do they get to pick the tool?
And then charge,
And-
give me money.
And
And it's not, you're not reporting to those, so they pick this tool, but then you're not required to report to the state with these results?
I report to you. And there's no way for the state to collect that data collection.
Right, so it doesn't really matter.
You can't learn from it, you can't do,
Yeah.
you don't wanna get me started on this tonight.
No, I just, but I did want to understand, cause I assumed if they're imposing this, like, it must be one of these things, it's because they want the data.
I wanna know.
Yeah.
One would think.
Okay.
But it's not written into the bill at all for state level reporting, and because it's 4 of them, it's apples to oranges anyway. So, and there's nothing that's, like right now, the ones that are getting, and they're, no offense to any of them, they're okay tools, I've worked with some of them. But there's actually no research out there that says because you use this tool, results happen.
Right.
It's what you do with the results that change outcomes, and their results aren't any better than any other tool. And so that's what for me, that's the frustration, is like, you get to pick something more expensive, it's like, and I don't believe in this case that you get what you pay for. You can get the same results, and it might produce better reports for large districts, but I can't even show you guys the reports for some other grade levels, so that also doesn't make sense. So, anyway, we'll see where it goes tomorrow, and then keep talking about what we do next. So, and then just putting on the radar, we're working with, there's a group out of Eugene. We were actually trying to run a summer school program with them, but the state cut the money for funding it at the last second last summer. But they're called Genesis, and they run reading, targeted reading programs for pre-K through 3rd grade, and we're gonna co-host a literacy night with them, where they bring in activities for families and those kind of things. So, mark your calendars for March 18th.
Okay, sorry, what is literacy?
So this will be like a set of activities for like literacy skill development and reading with kids at home. So like think stations, and they'll have activities for parents and students to engage in together. So interactive. It's our first time partnering with them, but we've heard really good things, and so they said we supply the people and they do everything else, and
So who the students at the school are?
all students and families from the community, whoever, are welcome to come engage that day. So
Is there an age range?
their stuff is targeted on pre-K through 3rd grade. We're gonna put a couple other activities to round out elementary, so that whole age group is served that evening. So,
But elementary.
yeah, elementary. Yeah, at least for this first one, so we know. Okay. And I think, Friday we nailed down the date, I think the meeting with them was the day before. We're reaching out to the Saysville Library as well to connect, Gail and Brian, to the event as well, so. Okay, so the Sailor Spotlights, hopefully you've been seeing those, going out through, Parent Square and then hook into various social media. That one in particular is the 5th and 6th grade, Valentine's Inventions. But you'll see these, once a week, one from elementary, one from secondary, highlighting, elements of our Portrait of a Graduate and our 4 values. And Jen's taken that on and doing an awesome job with it. And let's see, 1st and 2nd graders had a field trip to the Science Center in Eugene, I think on Wednesday last week. And elementary is starting their mid-year Acadience testing. Acadience is the current benchmarking interim testing that we do. And then this picture here, you might see a blow-up potato head there. This is a attendance challenge for 3rd and 4th grade. Every day that they have 90% or more students, Mr. Potato Head is delivering a piece of Mr. Potato Head's face to their classroom one. And when they fill that, they are earning a movie field trip. So this group's got pretty good attendance. We're starting with them to make sure everybody knows how cool attendance is, and they are jazzed by Mr. Potato Head. So I might be in that picture, and leaving there, 1st and 2nd graders are very enthralled with this Mr. Potato Head concept, so we're hoping it spreads. We got this idea from another district that said it landed really well, so
That's great.
finally got it going. And then secondary updates, similar Sailor Spotlights have been going out showcasing. This one is music and guitar, and they actually performed some. They strummed on the entrance to our assembly, and this is the first time we've had performers join our quarterly assembly, and so the plan is to kind of break the ice with that and get more students performing. I've talked to people about dancing, and everybody's like, yeah, but I don't want to be first, and so they played guitar on the side, and now the first has happened, and so everybody else can perform. So, and then quarter 2, academics and attendance awards. Attendance is way up for quarter 2. It's exciting. We were down quite a bit in quarter 1 and got that reversed, and are hitting over 90% almost every day right now. I think we've had maybe one day at like 89 in the last couple weeks. And then we did for every student that was 90% or higher, for semester 1, we did a movie field trip, and it's really the first kind of incentivized reward we've done, and they didn't know ahead of time. We just did that, and so now quarter 3 we met with them. They want to do a beach trip, so anybody who earns 90% attendance quarter 3, we're going to take them out to the beach at the end of quarter 3. And yeah, we did the crew and club shuffle. Clubs, we just offer an opportunity for kids to switch which club they're in. Just a reminder, those are embedded in this weekly schedule on Thursday afternoons. And then crew, we are making that more activity-based. So we sent out a survey, like what activities do you do to regulate and connect in the morning, and then we've got a walking and running crew. We've got a drawing and coloring. We're quite I think we had 18 kids no, it's not quite that high. 15 kids choose that, and just that kind of meditative space to draw and color. Anyway, there's a few more, but so we'll still have the announcements in that part, but we used to kind of write, here's what to do in that space, here's an activity, here's a discussion, and we're working on hey, we want you to start your day regulated, let's practice doing the thing that you enjoy doing, and if you find that it's not that, we have other activities, so.
What are the other things?
So, there's a draw and color group, there's a, I have to go through the halls, shooting hoops, we have a couple kids who wanted to work with elementary students that are gonna start, there's 3 kids I think that are gonna start with check-ins with an elementary student in the morning. There's a music group that's pretty large,
Like they play
a
music?
yep, yeah, so, just to come in, we have a lot of kids right now who, especially guitar, but we have some piano and keyboarding, some drummers, who start their day with some focused activity there, and it's still same amount of time, it's about between announcements and that, about a 20-minute connection time, but we're switching it to the activities that they find regulating instead of talking about being regulated, so we think we'll have better outcomes. So that just started, I'm confused on time because of snow days, but I think it started last week, maybe this week.
What grades?
That's 7th through 12th. Are in those, we still kept our 6th graders in their own crew, so they have like a morning routine that they do, and so 6th graders are together and not.
How is that done with them over here?
I think really good. They're over here and they're different, so like they don't do crew or PBL, and their success classes on the other side of the hill, so they still go over there kind of afternoons, and they do PE with 5th grade, so it's a nice mix of both. 6th and 7th graders definitely want to eat over here and not separate. Some of our staff would rather do that instead of being over there. I am definitely the holdout, but I like 6th being separate, but we're, actually the next thing we're looking at for kind of an incentive-based thing is, like I forget the name of it. They've done it at elementary, I wanna say like self-starter, but that, self-manager. Self-manager status, that you'd still eat together, but if you have self-manager, you can be in the gym or the library for the rest of lunch. And if you haven't earned that status, then, and really it's all the kids who wouldn't have earned that yet are the ones that want to be over here, and so, and who we don't think are ready to mingle with older kids, and so we'll have some built-in incentive possibly, but we're working to design that. But overall, I think it's working pretty well to have the 6th graders over here, so. Yeah, and then sports updates, we were supposed to play at 6, we're playing at 5 o'clock tomorrow. Triangle Lake will be here. Winner, this is boys basketball, winner of that goes to state, loser of that gets another chance on Saturday to go to state. So, and just for boys basketball, pretty cool, we were 1-11 going into league and went 5-2 in league and earned 2nd place in the league, which other teams aren't super excited that we beat them, and our kids figured out how to play defense. And as a longtime coach, I always say defense, you can win with defense, and it turns out you gotta hold them below 35 points. Or you need to score more than 35 points. And every one of our wins, we've held teams under, I think 33 and under, which is hard to do in high school, and hopefully they can keep it going. So, and then girls are 1st place in league, plays Saturday for the championship, and should be able to make a run at state. So we'll see what happens. So it's a fun year. So, yeah, that's all I got. actually, I'll announce these two, I don't know that we announced them to the kids yet, but if they watch this, they'll know, but we're also, with the spotlights, putting in a, student of the month for, middle and high school, and aligning those each month to the, portrait of a graduate, and so, dynamic advocate, at, let's see, high school Jacob Kennard, and at middle school Bobby Bender were just identified as our first student of the months, so we'll get them out there,
Awesome.
so.
Thank you. Okay, finance, tech, maintenance, all that, Jen.
Yeah, nothing really going unless you got any questions on that stuff. We have the fence on this, the fence for over there on the elementary side is on here, and heater for the shop. I failed my coliform test for the water, which we're not using, and and then I passed the next ones, but I wrote to the guy and was like, thought we were gonna inactivate, because we're using Mapleton water, and so we're just keeping the well as backup. So seeing about deactivating it so I can stop testing it and stuff.
How hard is it to activate if you deactivate it?
Easy. Just tell them that it's active again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, the felling the coliform was probably me touching the rim of the bottle. It's easy to, if you breathe too much while you have the bottle open, it picks up any kind of
Picked up our,
stuff and,
winter illness.
I was using a dirty bucket to catch the water in the water. Yeah, so it was my fault that I felled it probably and passed
During your mention of the fence, actually led me back to a question for Sue about the district reports. Like the fence, how is it working? Is it a good thing?
Yeah, it's working well,
Okay.
but, I mean, for what we needed it for,
Uh-huh.
to contain a couple
Yeah.
kiddos, it's working wonderfully. There's probably video of all of us trying to figure out how to get in the fence. It's- And now there's a sign and there's a cord, but for some reason I always think you push the other one, so I stand out there trying to, I look like an idiot every time. But yeah, it's doing its job, and the kids aren't going around very often. Sometimes they do, but it's not a common thing to abscond the other way, and so, or elope, I guess is the right word. And so it's really helped us out there. I think I told you guys before, it's really expensive to put a fence across that back side, and so not needing one would be ideal. But we're also looking at cheaper versions, and we have all the stuff to put the fence in for the garden out here now, and so I wanna see that and how that would transfer out to the other side. We did look at like like a natural
A living fence.
living fence, that's the word, and it's not really feasible in the areas we need it, but we did some look at that. And then, yeah, so we'll see, but right now, it certainly has served the purpose we needed in the short term, and then now it's figuring out that backside and what we do with it, so, or if we do anything.
Yeah.
What backside are you talking about?
So what we did was, have you seen the fence? Yeah. So now from Jeanette's room to Clara's room like the buildings are serving as the fence.
Yeah.
But if you can put something along that hill,
Mhm.
now it's truly
Caged.
fenced,
Okay.
yeah, and so, but it's just really expensive to
Right, that's
go
a long
along that
ways,
whole,
yeah.
yeah, so.
Yeah, and it'd be nice to put something that looks really good too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know.
And-
Mhm.
And anything, like, I can't remember if I told you guys, but the bid we got for, I think it was like a 6-foot wrought iron is really expensive, and 6 foot's a challenge for kids
Right.
versus keeping them
Right.
where we need them, and so it's like, I wasn't gonna pay that much for a challenge, so, yeah, once we put this up, I think it'll look nice for the garden, and then it's figuring out, does that meet the same thing, and does that translate, or do we just go with nothing there, so. We'll play that out, but I don't think we'll need to make a decision until late spring, so.
When's the fence garden going in?
As
Garden fence.
soon, out here, we have everything, now it's a ground issue, just when to, like, it
Yeah,
keeps
right,
getting
right.
wet, yeah, we
Yeah.
keep having like enough dry days that you think we should have done it, and then when you start to organize, then a storm comes, and so, my guess is that's gonna, like, actually go kind of end of winter, section there, yeah, so. But it's ready, so, and then, do you wanna say anything to the, we talked about it a little bit last time, but the report, the economic forecast came back pretty positive?
Yeah, it was up a
Yeah.
little bit, and there's a bill to unlink us from the federal tax rate to help bring in a little more money and stuff. They're still looking at a 300 million deficit, I think. That's pulling some from rainy day and stuff, but it's not as bad as they were anticipating, and the sky's not falling.
Good, and I think I mentioned the QEM potential bill and sent something to you guys that isn't gonna move in short session, so they think there'll be movement kind of between sessions to do more research on it, but it's nothing to worry about now.
Okay, anything else on the finance or tech or maintenance or anything like that? Sweet, okay, moving on to the consent agenda, everybody have a chance to look at that? And if so, I will entertain a motion to approve that. Consent agenda, items 6.1 to 6.3.
Approve.
And a second. And Adam, do we need to, generally this is like stuff that it goes out in the email to us, so we usually read it in the email so that we're just ready to go ahead, unless we have questions or discussion on it, on these 3 items, that we're just ready to move and pass it,
Okay.
so. And I think you could, if you didn't get a chance to look at it, you
Yeah.
didn't know that that's how it goes, I think you
Yeah.
could abstain, because like there's 3 of us who can vote today and pass it, so,
Okay,
you
then
know.
I'll abstain if I did not.
Yeah, I know, sorry, okay, that's
Yeah, yeah, no worries.
told ya.
And some of this will be, I don't know if you've done your onboarding yet,
No,
so this
we're gonna
will be
meet
part of
after
that.
and plan
Anyway.
something, yep.
Okay, so, we had a motion from Abby and a second from,
Yes, I'll second.
Mizu. Okay, so all those in favor, any opposed? And one abstain, okay, so no opposed, but one abstain.
Andrea says me too.
And Andrea,
Yeah.
oh, that's right, Andrea's on, yay, Andrea, thank you. Okay, we've got some action items. Do you wanna explain 7.1 for Adam's sake? I think,
Yeah, do you want to,
It's time to renew certified staff contracts. It's in their contract that we will let them know if we are renewing them by March. And so everybody, we anticipate inviting everybody back that's certified, so that's,
yeah, so they're all listed here.
well, and I don't have Jen on there. She's technically
Is she certified?
certified right now. So should we have her
Add her.
on there?
Yeah.
Probably not.
The, yeah, because between now and budget, yeah,
Yeah.
we should, cause then the dean position's there and we'll talk about,
So adding on Mackenzie.
Okay, so we need
What's
to
her
add
name?
Jennifer
Jen
McKenzie.
McKenzie, or probably Jennifer on this.
Yeah, Jennifer McKenzie.
It's just their
There's
last
just
name.
Mackenzie
Oh,
on here
just
now.
kidding,
Yeah.
just Mackenzie.
Okay, so with that change, adding, Jen to the certified staff renewal, I'll entertain a motion to approve the renewing of the certified staff contracts.
And I won't participate in this in any form, so. That leaves it up to you to
Thanks.
move and second.
And
I move to approve 7.1.
And I'll second. Okay, alright, and then all those in favor, and Andrea, maybe might chat in the chat.
In favor.
Alright, and no opposed, and then one abstain. From zero. Okay, moving right along. Okay, discussion items. Scholarship, Jaren, this is.
I was doing it, but I thought about sending an email out to my board people, my business managers today.
Yeah.
But I am thinking hard about it.
I feel like the board liaisons, cause this is gonna have a very similar.
Can I add a related-ish topic?
And we might wanna explain what
Oh,
the
yeah, what it
scholarship
is.
Yes.
Do it.
Or,
Does somebody wanna do that first?
The scholarship?
Yeah.
So taking some of our savings account and putting it into a separate savings account and using the interest off of it to provide a scholarship,
Right.
scholarships based on
I
how
think-
much interest it provides.
yeah, you talked about this last meeting,
Oh, yes,
When you were here, yep.
okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay,
Which, yeah, we're in favor of, but we need to figure out if it, like how it would work and how it would work legitimately.
and Jaren is currently thinking about figuring that out for us.
Yes.
And the auditors say, yeah, other districts, so I just need to find the other districts that do it, since there's a couple ways to do it and see which way sounds best.
Cool. Nice.
Two semi-related things. Sorry, I'm finding one of them here. Okay. In terms of raising money towards a capital campaign for matching funds for the middle school, I met with, Ford Family, somebody from there today. But I reached out to Tim at Western Lane Community Foundation, and he has an answer, I just need to get back to him about if that's possible. And so, once I figure that out, I'll let you guys, if we're taking action on that, I'll let you guys know that, so. And then, this one's kind of it's related at some point, I promise. So, Kathy, West, Carl's wife, passed, I think last week or two, and, Sarah Tempe reached out to me, asking if there's a way for the district to both acknowledge but also to honor her, and so a couple ideas, that were shared. One, like they just together, and Kathy included, do so much community service for Mapleton that in a way to honor that. And so two ideas. One was to do a like canned food drive in her honor because they did so much support for the food share. And I think that's a great option. Another idea, maybe making a graduation recognition for our highest community service hour senior at each graduation and recognizing them in her name, with a recognition there. So now tying back to the scholarship part, I don't think that recognition needs to be financially connected, but one, cool option, if there was a small amount attached to it, that senior could choose, where to donate it to in the community in Kathy's behalf, like, in Kathy's name, does that make sense? So like, I did the most community service in Mapleton, I get recognized, there's this dollar amount, and I wanna put that to the food share this year because I did so much service for them, or some other group that I worked with. So those are two options, and then just, I think us putting together something to send out, as a district and recognize her and our loss, in the community, so I wanted to bring that forward.
I love that, I like the community service recognition with attached with something, you know, like some fund to donate somewhere, that idea, because, yeah, I mean, that was very fitting.
Yeah, could we, Jaren, in terms of rules, and I don't know if we have to look this up, but like, the board has a fund, could, like, I don't think it needs to be but could we put $100 a year from the board to that recognition, or do we need to set that up through an account, or, I know that's an on-the-spot question, but.
If it's in the, budgeted in, then, general fund,
Have it kind of as a
probably, yeah.
board item in there or something, just like, because there's an account there with some money connected to the board for.
Yeah,
different
I
recognition.
don't, yes, my vote would be to do it separately somehow, cause that is specifically, like, it's, if we start using it for that kind of thing, then I think it could get, I don't know, just muddy or messy, better, because right now the board stuff, I think, as I understand it, is specifically for like board education and, you know, like whatever other like sort of operational stuff the board needs. But, so, I don't know, I would be in favor of doing it, but looking for some way to have it be its own separate thing.
And we can hear you, Andrea. If you want.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it seems like maybe some way to, if we did wanna attach some sort of monetary thing to it, better might be a way to seek to fund it through some sort of, I mean, it wouldn't be a lot of money, and it's only annually, so maybe fund it through, you know, reaching out to some people to see if they'd be interested in donating, you know, or something like that. And to establish it as a small fund.
Yeah, we could, I mean, it could be just donation, but this is what it is, so that people know you're donating to this,
Yeah,
this is
there a
how
way to
it
put on the
goes.
website, if you're putting money, you can put it to that?
Yeah, and we could have
That
a
drop down?
Yeah.
have that as a choice specifically, and do like a couple times a year, do a shout out for,
Yep,
hey, don't forget we have this
yeah.
at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And being specific, then Andrea, then it's specific, hey, that, like, that student can choose what it's gonna go to. They might give it to something you don't like, but
Right.
you know that ahead of time. Yeah, okay. Cool.
Yeah, but it's not even, yeah, and I mean, I agree with Andrea, and I think the problem isn't even if like the student picks something that not everybody agrees with or whatever,
Yeah,
but it's more like just that it is public money and we're giving it to
Yeah.
a specific,
Yeah.
thing,
No, I agree with both of you. I didn't mean to minimize that with that.
So that's gonna take some time. And so, but she passed recently, and especially if we wanna do some sort of recognition, at least by this graduation, but if not sooner, then what's the plan?
We could do something that doesn't, we could do the without the money part,
That's true.
Yeah, that it's
just an, yeah, just
Yeah.
an honoring of somebody who's done community service in the spirit of Kathy.
yeah.
Has anybody talked to Carl or to Carrie or Amy about it? Like-
Not about that idea, I did ask Sarah to try to get a picture of the two of them, so that if we sent something out as a district, we can include
But
their
maybe we
picture.
shouldn't, I mean, whoever's
Ask them
organizing it
first
should ask
if-
the family first,
Yeah,
yeah,
yep.
yeah.
So that's probably the next step. And there was, yeah, they would not want flowers or stuff, giving back was her thing, so if we could do something to give back in her honor would be awesome. And then I think I had one more conversation that was similar about like,
Right,
don't buy us stuff, kind
Right.
of as the
yeah,
theme, so.
yeah. Also sort of cool would be like, we haven't done it in like this year, I don't think, last year, but like when Terry was doing the Beyond Me stuff, she organized a day of service in the community where students would go out and do a day of service, and that would be
Oh, yeah, like a day.
Yep,
Yeah.
yeah, a day of, that we like use our school time to do service in the community in different areas and call that, you know, I'm Kathy's name, yeah.
Or like, you know, I know the Mapleton Lions Club always needs
Yeah, right, yep, and part of that,
hands
yes.
and help with things, you know. And they, Kathy and Carl did a lot of going and cleaning the graves up at the cemetery and so.
so that kind of stuff, and just help, we could have sign-ups and people could go to different spots to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, I think between our community service work and after school does a day each week on that and can plan some stuff, our community wellness class, but we have probably
Yeah.
3 or 4 spots that can work towards organizing something like this. In terms of day of service versus canned food drive, sounds like, day of service is landing well, okay. Okay, I'll
Awesome.
let you know where that goes.
Okay, let me make a note to add that to the discussion for next month too, so that we don't lose that momentum. Okay. Board liaison positions. When, I will admit that when, Sue and Andrea and I met, last week, we did say, we need to keep this on there so that we remember to actually do the stuff, but understand, I don't think there's been really any movement on this. So, if anybody has anything to.
And again, this, for Adam, so the history on this is, we did like a board of self-evaluation about, well, I don't know, 6 months ago or something like that, can't remember how long ago. But in that came up kind of like, I can't remember even what question or sort of evaluation category sparked it, but we were like, we could do more with like, both sort of networking out into the community and like being out there for the community to like, being connected. And one way to do that is like connect with other groups who are also doing like, related work, I guess, or something, but, and then we had the idea of, okay, then maybe each board member could be a liaison with another group and like attend their stuff and come back and like report on it every once in a while, and, look for opportunities to partner and just be out there to listen to feedback and stuff like that, provide information.
There's like
Yeah.
different categories and stuff too, like it might be somebody kind of in charge of maybe being informed about what the other neighboring districts are doing, so like Save Slaw and Triangle Lake and stuff, and someone else is thinking a little bit more about like the community groups like Rotary and Kiwanis and Elks or something, so like people, each of us would be kind of responsible for like a category of things, so we're not all having to try to be at everything.
Right.
Also, there's stuff that happens through the county or through the state or through PSD, and so having someone from the board being, keeping abreast of that information. So that's what those board liaison positions were, it's like who's gonna be the school board liaison, who's gonna be the community group liaison, who's gonna be the district liaison, that kind of thing. And I don't remember what we said we were gonna do. I think we're gonna look for categorizing them and then listing them out.
Yes, we started that a little bit, but then I can't really remember where we landed on all of that either. I think more maybe, and I think one of the things that's holding us back, at least is holding me back, is like the kind of enormity of it and trying to get everything, like bring everything, like, oh, let's think of all the potential groups and like, let's make sure we cover all the bases. And in a way that is good. It would be nice to have thought of it pretty holistically. But maybe in terms of action, we just need to be like, hey, I'm gonna go to this meeting this month and I'll like, if there's anything to report, I will, or something like that. So that keep it a little more, I don't know, not feel like we have to like make a big program, like and get that off the ground, but more just kind of like take some action. I don't know. And I don't know that we need to do it tonight either.
Yeah.
But maybe that's a step we could take.
So like figuring out which things we would want to go to.
Yeah, like it could be something that that each of us already does even in a way, just more intentionally linking it to like our school board service, like saying, oh, okay, I'm really gonna go and think about that. I'm representing the school and I'm gonna like make any connections possible, necessary or available or whatever. So it doesn't have to be anything new. Like I was thinking about, I went to, Deadwood has an annual
I was just thinking.
meeting that, they discuss, a bunch of like community activities and things like that and I did go to that, but I didn't report on the school at it, which I often do, that often happens, but this year I didn't. And, I would say that that's one of those things where like, then there's always discussion about, the report afterwards and stuff there.
Yeah. That makes sense. I serve on the SIS committee and on the board of directors for United Way of Lane County, and we've had some partnerships with them in the past, so I feel like that's a place where I could do that. I'm on the board from a school board capacity, and there because of my work that I do, but those things do overlap.
Yeah, and it's kind of like maybe looking for ways where it isn't specifically, it's just like, oh, I live in these two worlds, I could like bring them together a little bit more or something.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be good.
But also like optional, like if there is an event or meeting that like one of us shares with each other, like, hey, can you make this, or this is a potential thing we should attend and like report back at the next meeting. Does that kind of be intention?
I think that is a good way to go about it too, like, it's just identifying good things, good opportunities for us to be out there as school board members at, and then, seeing if we can staff them essentially with one of us. That's a good option. I don't know, Andrea, do you, like, I think you have the best memory for this maybe. How does this sound like we're going in a good direction for what you had remembered? Maybe she's not on anymore.
She's muted.
She might have gone up to listen to.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's okay. So maybe we should, for next time we leave this on here, and maybe we think of,
I mean, I think of it as like like discussion items, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're discussing, this is just an example.
Yeah.
We're discussing AI in education and say something at the Florence Event Center, oh, we're gonna talk about AI, like,
Yeah.
like, it's not like you have to like
Yes.
put so much pressure on, oh, I have to do this every month, like,
Right.
if something comes up and it would pertain, then great, go.
Yes.
But it's not like, I have to find somewhere to go
Right.
to come back, like,
Yeah.
I don't think it should be like so much pressure, it's more just like keeping an eye out for things that might pertain
Mhm.
and go and say, I'm gonna go to this and I'll let you know when I find out, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah, or even not even just say say to everybody, hey, this is happening, does anyone like
Wanna
just,
go,
yeah, wanna
or
go,
whatever,
or
yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
uh-huh.
yeah. And I think that's really, that is what it is, right? So
Mhm.
it is that person saying, hey, I saw this thing at the event
Mhm.
center, can somebody make it? But that does need a little bit of formality, not just like oh, if you see something, or maybe feel like, now, like, I have to go to something every month, is I don't think ever the intent. I think it is though, like, I am intentionally keeping an eye out on meetings that have to do with this, might be
Right.
whatever, the so school district has their board, do we need to go to every single one? No. But if like I'm the board liaison person that's like kind of keeping an eye on the other neighboring districts, then it is my responsibility to like kind of check in on those districts and see what's happening and see what they're talking about, and is there a meeting worth going to, or are they discussing something that might pertain to us or impact us? And so I think there is a little bit more intentionality in like maybe even checking in, not going to something every month, maybe not necessarily, or whatever. Or if we know that Rotary's gonna start talking about their scholarships being open, like making sure that we're staying abreast of that, making sure the school knows so our seniors can be applying for those things, like really being, so there needs to be like, I think in between, like I don't think it needs to be so rigid, but I don't think it should just be like whenever, whatever.
And there's I'm realizing, like in year 4 now, year 1, people called me all the time and were like, hey, we know you don't know about this, and they'd give me the information. I feel like this year, there's lots of things that people have told me about in the past that I didn't get the information this year because I think people assume I have it. Does that make sense? And it just, through whatever avenue, it didn't come this year. And so, I think that's helpful from my lens to like have everybody out there, and if you share something we already know about, I'll be like, awesome, thank you. You know, but sometimes it's like even the Deadwood meeting, I'm like, damn, I got invited to that the first couple of years, did that already happen? I thought that was in April.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
like I don't have it on my calendar, and then it goes, and some years we've talked really explicitly about the school, and some years it's just being there represented, but that's just one of many spaces. So being able to like funnel information to make sure everybody has it is helpful.
Yeah.
Alright,
We did I think we
8.3 is.
copied and pasted the other one, 8.3 is done, we
I
did
think
that.
the only thing we were gonna follow up on was the student.
We did it last month, so when you and I met, and Andrea, we crossed it off and sent it to Jaren, but I think Jaren didn't use what I sent him.
Okay, so
Also
Jaren,
for 8.3, I was on, or I am on the committee.
Oh,
Nice.
that's why it's here.
Ah.
Jaren recognized that and put it back.
Good job, Jaren. Amazing, that's why we keep you around. So maybe I don't know, you're a little bit newer to the community, but, I don't know if you know somebody who you might talk to
Definitely,
replace you?
I have some neighbors who might want to replace me, but I can ask them.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've filled it out entirely, but then we'll just, and we've done it where each board member picks somebody, so this would be perfect to have you pick somebody.
Okay.
So,
Nice.
And you got a list of them somewhere, so that in the event we have to use it, we got the full list.
Perfect.
yeah, some,
Good, I like the question mark on the end of that.
like, do we have the list? Is that what you're asking? Yeah, I think so. I think I can tell you, I think I can tell you the whole list right now.
So,
We
related,
better
Make
put
sure
it-
it's fully
write it
written.
down somewhere.
thinking of committees too, I saw that and I thought of the equity committee. Do we have a full equity committee?
Yeah, so,
Since I saw a bill
yeah,
that they're,
so it reports to the superintendent now, and not the board, like they switched that up, we changed it in policy there, so, we hosted in the spring, looking at the data, there was adults and kids together in a committee, I don't know that we formally called it the equity committee, because we were still waiting for that bill to work its way through, to figure out if that could be it. That's the same approach we'll do a couple times a year, in my head, I'm trying to figure out if that's a standing committee, like the same people each time, or the same representation each, does that make sense, like,
somebody
this
from-
many
a
students,
student,
this many adults,
yeah.
this many whatever.
one of them's supposed to be on the budget committee. There's a bill right now that would
Gotcha.
make it so that if none of them want to serve on it or something, that, you don't have to have one of them on the budget committee, but
Right.
as it stands right now, one
We
of
need
them
to have
is
a representative.
supposed to be.
Okay, let me go back to who was at that meeting and see if we can get a budget person out of that.
Speaking of, I do think that maybe the AI in education was gonna come off until there was a reason, and then, but the committee stuff was gonna go on there.
Yeah, so I pulled up the one that we wrote, so
Okay.
we called it, and I can't remember, I know what we called it,
Okay.
and I remember the
I think we just got
conversation.
an older,
It says upcoming board work.
yes, upcoming board work.
Yeah, so
Sorry, everybody, we
we're all over the
were
place on
going
these.
to,
Yeah.
the AI in education, we talked a little bit about the intentionality of this discussion item. Cause eventually, like what is the real question we're gonna be asking was what Sue was saying, and I think that when Annie and I and Sue were talking, eventually the question may be like, are we going to allow or prohibit or something between AI at Mapleton School District? But until then, like this was my thought, is that leaving it on here just in perpetuity can kind of almost like desensitize, when you see something on there for so many times.
Yes.
And so maybe taking it off until there's something that's gonna impact, cause it might not just be AI related, it might be tech related, it might be whatever related, but actually taking AI in education off the discussion items and then putting it on intentionally when we need to each month.
And we talked about having that on the board planning agenda every month,
Yes.
so that it's an intentional conversation are we,
Do we need a?
what are we talking about at the board meeting
Mhm.
in
So
relation to this?
Yeah, exactly, so, yes, so we'll still be keeping it, like asking the question, does this need to be on there this month? And then putting it on there if it needs to be, but that sounds like a plan, I think we're gonna switch to that.
I'm definitely in favor of that, cause I feel like we're just leaving things on here for a long time, and the list gets longer and longer, and we're always like, well, maybe, but we don't have anything that is the month, let's just not have it on
Yeah.
that month where we don't have something to talk about.
Yeah, I don't like the thought of using our discussion items as like a parking lot.
Right.
I don't really love
Right.
that.
Right, but I do like the idea of there being a list maintained that has some recent
Mhm.
discussion items that you're checking at the planning meeting, like, oh, do we need to talk about this, like that makes sense.
And if anybody ever has something about
Absolutely.
AI explicitly,
Mhm.
make sure to share that to Andrea and Mary before the planning meeting to say, hey, can we make sure that's on the agenda this month? I wanna talk about this, or I went to this thing at the FEC
We
about
always
it.
meet the week before, like that's just standing, we just meet the week before the board meeting, so you got like almost till the board meeting itself to do that. But also to replace that 8.4, we had planned on putting on this one called upcoming board work. And that was specifically because we have a contract renegotiation and we have budget coming up. And I can't believe it's already February, and so those things happen in these next couple of months of meetings. So I just wanted this on here so we could make sure that what's upcoming and explain what those are, but also so that we all can be thinking like who's gonna be doing what and when, and get the timeline, and having Sharon here as the timeline person is ideal. So, I don't know if we wanna start with the, well, budget's a little bit easier timeline to talk through. So we can just do that one first and then we can, the renewal, contract renewal, or, renegotiation, sorry.
And superintendent eval.
And then
Yeah,
superintendent.
superintendent guy.
Perfect. So what's the timeline for a budget committee? And we all are responsible to also help get those committee members. Yes.
March will approve the budget calendar
Okay. So that's just
and
next month.
talk about budget committee members, and see about getting them by, and then May will be the budget committee meeting, will be the regular board meeting in May. And then adopt in June. Assuming that we don't need a second one after the normal budget, after the normal board meeting.
Right.
Okay.
And the people who were on it last year are I remember joking with, Mr. Weaver, Will, about, he's on it forever. Or like how many years people had done it, and we told him, oh, you didn't know you signed up forever, but I don't remember how long terms actually are because of that conversation.
I don't think
It's
there's
just-
a term limit.
No, not a term limit,
No.
but yeah, I think they're 2-year
Yeah.
Yeah.
terms or something, but really, you know,
So do we know who'd only did their first year last year? I mean, we can also talk about this next.
In March, yeah,
Yeah.
since we are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
maybe
that'll-
we can do some
That would be good.
connecting with, like, we can connect with the people who were on it before to see if they're still interested.
Well, and we usually do that, so like if we're gonna talk about it in
In
March
March.
anyway.
Okay. That's a March task.
Yeah, then, but maybe,
Yeah.
maybe come to March, we should come with the list of who did it last year and how many in, like, if they, and
Yeah,
then.
I think that's what I'm getting at, like, let's be prepared for the March meeting. Right. So like, who was
so
on it?
since she asked,
Bring it to us in March now.
Julie Duran, Melissa Moffett, Will Weaver, Mariah Still, and Kathy Vermelia
Mhm.
were
Mm,
on this last
Yeah,
year.
right.
I can see that whole group doing it again,
Yeah, okay,
Mhm.
great.
if we smile, smile and say please.
I feel like Kathy's done it a few years.
Yeah.
Kev,
She has,
Kathy was on that one.
Mhm.
yeah, Will's been on it a couple times, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, I think Will was on it since after I was on it.
Mhm.
Okay, and so then for the contract negotiations, yeah, let's talk through that a little bit.
We're shooting for some time in March.
Okay.
Waiting for the state school fund number to come out and the session the legislative session to end and stuff, so shooting for in March to,
Start.
yeah,
And we usually.
finish,
To finish, start and finish?
yes.
Ideally,
Well,
I mean, yeah,
obviously,
you never know.
Ideally, yeah.
Yeah.
And in the past, how we've done it is have, have a board member teams with 2 people each, 2 people working with the, certified staff contract and 2 people working with the classified staff contract. And then, and kind of leading the board representation on those fronts. I don't know what else I should say about that, but, I mean, that seems like an approach we wanna carry on.
So would those be happening before our next board meeting though, since you said you're aiming for March, like beginning of March, or? Because if so, then we might wanna decide who's doing those.
Yeah, I think so too, and it's quite a process.
It is, yeah, it is a lot.
It is,
That's why I wanted to start talking about it. 'cause
yeah,
it's
I
gonna
think,
stress me.
it's good too. Yep. Because also spring break is in March.
Mhm.
That's, yeah.
Our literacy thing is on our
So the short session ends March
I think we
8th.
did that on purpose, like it's before it, but I think we
the-
sent it right after school.
One is-
We did that.
Put out sticks.
Was that our maximum? We got that this one.
We put out the estimate the past couple of years, that first week of March, so yeah, I would say we could do it before next board meeting, really, if we
Okay.
wanted to, probably that second,
Okay.
second week of March.
And I think we could all use a refresher on the, like, the process, cause I know that there, you know, there is very, pretty rigid process to it.
Yeah.
And,
I've only been through one of these, so it's just not super stuck in
I
my
remember, I've only done one as well, but, if I recall, the first meeting is to set rules and expectations kind of thing. I don't, there's probably a name for that, but, and it, if I recall, that one was pretty fast to like a quick after-school meeting. What I can't remember was, I think, is it 2 board members on each
yeah, it is.
committee? So certified negotiations, classified negotiations, we'll have to divvy up 2 of you onto each of those. And then there's that first meeting about rule setting, and then the second meeting was a long go through any proposed changes and talk through those and kind of revisit the contract.
And they had their.
Their union reps,
They have
union reps there
Yeah.
for that,
Yep.
yeah.
And then, that's a long meeting, cause it's language and salary, so there's 2 levels of negotiation. Sometimes those can be on the same day, sometimes people pull those apart. If I recall, we did those on the same day last year.
Yeah, 3 years.
Or last time,
Yeah.
you're right, 3 years ago.
Okay, no, yeah, yeah, that does sound right. So what we would need on the district's end, on the board end, is proposed, you know, like proposed, salary schedules, stuff. For sure, and proposed language, and in the past, like Jaren, you've been like, I think we should, you know, we should change this thing, to the, you know, this and that, so, and that's one of the things that we've included in there. Yeah, I mean, I think we should set those board reps tonight, probably, if we can.
Yeah, that'll help us with scheduling then.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody remember if that was on a school day or a Friday? The long ones? That's what I couldn't remember.
I think a Friday is
It was
what I
Friday,
remember.
Friday,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
March 13th is a PD day for the district, so that wouldn't work,
Right.
just to me. So,
Right.
if we're looking at
Yeah.
that frame, that time.
Yeah, and there, I don't remember, but there are like rules about like, okay, they have this long to go back and, you know, negotiate, talk to the union rep and talk to the staff and, you know, and stuff like that, so. And we'll reconvene and whatever, like, I kind of want, I wanna write up a cheat sheet schedule or something,
Yeah.
so.
Do we know who wants to do each
I cannot do certified.
there?
I can join you there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you wanna do classified?
Sure, I mean, I will do classified, I mean, there's 5 of us and we need 4 people, so I don't wanna, if other people want the experience, then I'm fine not doing it, but I will do classified.
I would like the experience, so I will do it with you, but I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay,
So
that's
I
fine,
think
like,
that's a good tip.
yeah.
Then we'll onboard, learn everything else, and then next time you get to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, that seems like I shouldn't be taking on enough, like, yeah.
That's a lot, so.
Right. And there can only be 2 of us in each one because we can't, if we had 3, it's a quorum and you can't talk business or without, you know, so, yeah, without, so. It being a public meeting and stuff like, so. Yeah.
Yeah, those ones.
Okay. So
Cool.
Abby and I will do classified, and Andrea and Mary will do certified.
Perfect, thank you guys.
Okay, superintendent eval.
Classified, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is usually done over Zoom. This part is usually done over Zoom, but we also have done it where we've met and brought food and hung out here in the classroom, so, I'm open to whatever. What month do we wanna do this?
I mean, sooner the better probably,
Yeah.
especially if we could do it before negotiations,
Okay,
that would be good. So between, I don't know if that's too fast, but,
So what's the first thing gonna be, the rules and the right,
oh no, so now we switched to talking about the superintendent evaluation,
Okay,
I know.
alright, alright.
I know, but then I'm saying like, yeah, maybe I'd love to get that done before negotiations,
The superintendent,
possible.
okay.
because, yeah. Mm-hmm, right. So Andrew would email out the sort of category, the evaluation categories and stuff. We all fill out our own individual ones, then we meet together and, you know, pool our individual ideas as in sort of a, like a board, board evaluation that's then presented by Andrea or Andrea and Mary, depending on, to Sue. Is how it usually goes.
yeah. I mean, in general, if we're doing it during the week, Mondays and Fridays are the best for me, just cause my life lives in Eugene the other 3 days, it's really hard for me to be here. If we do it on Zoom, I could do Tuesdays and Thursdays very easy if it's in like the afternoon, like late afternoon, and I know a lot of people don't wanna be like doing that late afternoon, but, you know, maybe
Friday
some folks need to
works for
do
me.
off after 5 or whatever too.
Right, so if we wanna do it before negotiations, and we wanna kick negotiations off like the second week of March, is that what I'm hearing, Jaren? Like, once and we do have to notify, there's a certain time period where we need to notify the unions that we want open negotiations, right? Anyway, 'cause that only leaves us 2
Like
weeks.
a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, both my next Fridays are open, if Friday did ring a bell to anybody, otherwise, like, I'm available the next 2 Mondays also, kind of anytime-ish. Not like, I mean, I have to work it around my work schedule, but it's not the end of the world.
I'm traveling next Friday, so that day's out for me.
March sixth works for me.
It works for me unless the girls make it to the second round. Yeah, to the baker. So then that wouldn't work for me, but we can go ahead and set it tentatively then.
And then move it if we need to, or we could set a different date and then have this one as a plan B.
Yeah, maybe that's better. So Mondays was the other possibility?
This coming Monday seems a little soon, so we gotta be able to fill stuff out.
Yes, I can't do that.
The second is available, I mean, I've got like one meeting that day scheduled right now, which is as magical at 1. So I can do anytime.
So this would be a Zoom meeting or an
Or an
in-person evening meeting?
Yeah, we could do, I can do either of those things.
I mean, I like the idea of meeting in person and having
Food.
food.
I do like eating together with you all.
Yes, yeah.
It is fun to eat with you guys.
So, Andrea, how's this sitting with you schedule wise? Like, we're looking potentially at next. Yeah.
I don't know how.
we're thinking afternoon / early evening, potentially.
5?
Yeah, like 5. Okay. Okay,
Oh,
but maybe by this time, okay,
that'd be so cool to see you.
yes, that would be ideal. That seems to work that works for me. You, Adam, do you?
Yeah, 5 on the second
Wow,
works.
what,
That
okay.
works for you too?
Yeah.
Okay, and if something happens on the second, we have the 6th as a tentative second date, which is that Friday. But that leaves that open if the girls go to
Right.
second round. Yay, okay,
So, Zoom meeting?
we're gonna probably meet in person, but let's have a Zoom option so that if Andrea needs to zoom in, she can. Hopefully she can come and be with us.
Right, and I don't, the evaluation, I'm trying to, like, this is a silly thing, I should remember this, but that meeting isn't a public meeting. If any,
That was exactly.
yeah, exactly, yeah, I think so.
Executive.
And then the only the part that has to be public is any discussion about salary. And so we would make that a separate, in a public meeting. I think that's the rule, but we should check.
Okay.
I know for sure the salary discussion does have to be public. I just am not positive, and I'm pretty sure that the eval part is, like an executive.
We always have to look it up.
Yeah,
But I know it hasn't been public prior years, so I'm positive on that, so.
yeah, and we're careful about doing it.
Yeah.
Right, so.
Yeah, and I think you have to sign on to something and say this is a public
do.
meeting, or
Yeah.
be in person and say, we're
Yeah.
going to executive session.
Yeah.
In order for
Yeah.
evaluation.
Yeah, you start the meeting and then
Yeah.
go into executive session and then come out of executive session and close the meeting.
Yep. Yes.
Cool. Okay, so March 2nd at 5.
For the food, if everybody would just text me like an idea of somewhere they want, I think we'll pick food up and bring it here.
Uh-huh,
Does that
okay,
sound good?
and then we could we could either, we could Venmo you it, or we could, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That works.
I don't know, just text me ideas.
I love it, okay.
Okay, so
I have ideas.
Okay,
tell me.
we're already talking food. Okay, well let's.
There's a new tacos.
That's
Taco,
executive.
there's a new taco
Oh, there is a
restaurant.
new taco
restaurant.
restaurant.
Oh,
It's Heidi and Mario's
nice.
place, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it's where it's under the playhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Just,
I'll-
can
I'll-
you Google it or something?
I'll play around.
Perfect.
Yeah, yes.
Okay,
I'll do
now
that.
everybody who's
Awesome, thanks.
listening, if there is anybody who knows that, right?
That's
We
perfect.
always talk about our super. Okay, moving along, cause we're at 6 now, so I'm trying to get us out of here. Anything on the charter school?
We haven't done anything since I met last with students, which I think was prior to the last. Oh, no,
Yeah.
Oh,
Was
I
it?
couldn't remember if we reported on that, staff we met with, I
Yeah.
think students might have been right after.
It probably was.
Yeah, I don't think we knew that you met with students.
Yeah, okay, so we, I did meet with a group of students, and that, there were about, I think, 6 students, and it was cool, it was a mix of, grade levels, all high school. And it was neat, cause there was a student who had attended several charter schools, there was a student who was out of district, but hadn't attended charter schools, and there were several in-district students and students who had been in district for, their whole education, all the years of their education, and other ones who had not, and so it was a nice mix, it was good, it worked out well. I got a lot of questions about, just what is this, sort of ended up providing base, just sort of base information. Did not have a ton of time, for this, I think, which is fine, I think, for the initial one, but what I do think is that, we'll need to have a follow-up meeting, either with those students or with those students plus more. I did ask those students to like, you know, consider talking to their peers and, you know, like, kind of spreading that conversation a bit, but a lot of their questions were like touched on similar subjects that the staff questions touched on, just from a student perspective, so that was, interesting and cool. And so yeah, I would think I would love to have a follow-up meeting with students. Again, I just don't feel like we had enough time to really, you know, there definitely were like, by the end of the meeting, a couple of them were like, oh yeah, I think I could have an opinion on this, but you know, it took, it it wasn't everybody, and there's a lot more information to talk about, probably. So, I guess, yeah, my thought would be schedule a follow-up with students, again, and we could see if those students wanted to come and then potentially bring another student or something like that. And then, Andrea, next step then is to sort of start a community conversation, right? I think so.
Yeah.
That's what we would plan on doing next.
Community.
But yeah. Yeah, and for that, we would need to, I think, be more formal, like for the student one, I just had pulled up the slide deck from, and I didn't even really use it very much, just to refer to for myself, but I didn't like present it to the students, cause we did not have time, for that, and, but I think for the community one, like, it'd be great for us to put out, like, a one-pager with information and like, yeah, like, we've been asked questions, you know, answer things too, before we actually have a discussion.
What, are you thinking April for community?
Probably, April seems like a good, cause if we, I mean, going back to like when we think we would wanna have made a board decision about whether to proceed with this or not, would be before summer, so that then
Do it in the summer.
we could do it in the summer, do the, you know, the work of it in the summer.
Yeah. So are you wanting to do that follow-up student meeting in March?
Yeah. Yeah, I would think in March, and it doesn't have to be a long lead up to it, could be,
Part two.
yeah,
Yeah,
yep. And it worked okay to have it, we had it on a,
We could do a success period and
Yeah.
pull that group plus, I could ask them each, identify one peer you think should be in that conversation and be thoughtful, like, here was the makeup of you guys,
yeah.
who are we missing kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And do a success period, which means probably a Monday or Tuesday afternoon at, I can tell you what time.
I see, I see it,
1:40?
1:54 to 2:34.
That was close.
Good
eye. Yeah, 1:54 on a Monday or Tuesday would be.
So that, I could make that work sometime. And Andrew, you weren't able to make that first student conversation, but like, it'd be great, you know, to schedule it when you could make it, but I'm not sure that time might not work for you. So if you can hear me, would 1:54, basically 2 o'clock to like, you know, 2:35 work, on a Monday or Tuesday? And if she does not hear, then that's, we could go ahead and schedule it for then and check with her, and then maybe, you know,
See
like
if
set a tentative thing, check with her after the meeting, and if that doesn't work, we can schedule something else.
Yeah.
But we don't need to take up more meeting time here to schedule that.
yeah.
We can just.
And if success ends up being the best time to do it,
Mhm.
like I can make that time work.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
so, okay.
Yeah. So
We'd
I'm
be
that's
pretty
looking-
close to there.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, on either of those days, but Tuesday I'd be taking Jada and.
Right, around after that,
Yeah.
anyway, okay, okay, so.
So it works out, but
Okay.
I understand Andrea wanting to be there and she should.
The student, this is the student one.
This is just talking.
The second student one.
And is that just you and Andrea, or?
it doesn't matter, it was just me, it was, Andrea and I had originally scheduled it, but then I ended up being able to make it on that day, and she didn't, so it was just me.
Okay.
But, yeah, like, I would be great to have another board member at there, cause, I mean, it's just nice to have additional voices and additional
Yeah.
representation.
Or just also when we're reporting back, like, not missing anything.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, so hopefully Andrew can make it, if not, I can make it.
Okay, I could not do next week, but I could, and maybe I shouldn't put it on the second, because that's not a good idea. How about the third, as a Tuesday the third, of the day to target?
I won't be here, but it works. So,
Okay.
defending my dissertation at that exact time.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Stay tuned.
Wow, that's exciting.
I can't do that one actually, I can do the 10th. I
Okay.
can't do the 3rd,
Let me look here.
or the 9th or
The 10th is better for me.
the 10th. Okay, yeah, I can do the 10th. The 10th, Tuesday is easier for me, cause I have to pick up Jacob.
Okay,
Tuesday the 10th during success.
Yeah.
it is
And
1:50.
yeah, I'm not aware of any reason it won't work, so hopefully it works.
Okay, well, we'll check with Annie about that then.
And I'll
1:54.
Not a second.
I know. My Google Calendar does not
You
work.
know.
1:54. Okay,
You know there's a middle school involved when times land like that. I've never been to a middle school that didn't have weird time starts.
Perfect, okay. Alright, last thing is the master calendar.
Oh.
We're not voting on it tonight, but we do have a couple of things we need to discuss. And then, we should be good to go.
Share back up there again.
We do have to vote on it next month, is why we wanted to discuss the
Yeah.
things this month, and there's some big,
It's just
big-ish things, so.
Yeah, it's a weird year in general, and then, there's two proposals on the board, that we wanna make sure, certified and classified know about them. We wanna make sure you guys know, cause everybody has to approve in the end, so, for this year and the following year, Labor Day's really late, just in general, and so their districts are deciding whether to start, to wait till the 8th and start after Labor Day, which puts you going into the third week of June, which people don't love, and then, or starting the week of the 31st, which puts our in-service in the last week of August. Which maybe also people don't like, I don't know, we'll find out, but there are 4 districts. Well, let me say that, there are 4 districts in the county considering starting the, pre-Labor Day, and, sounded like the rest, we're looking at post-Labor Day. But we've, this is the version we put forward, exploring the pre-Labor Day start. But that's one of the things certified and classified units are talking about, so, that's the first.
Is there like a hangout to staff?
Yeah, well, I don't know, we met with Clara and Christina and then they do that from there, so I assume, yes, but, and Jaren sent this out to all staff. So everybody has a copy of this draft, but this is just a starting conversation.
I think Sayus was, but
Going
there's out
before.
going before.
Yeah, so they, I asked in superintendent council yesterday who was considering it, so is a yes to starting, pre-Labor Day, so, Crow is going before, and then 2 districts on the east side are looking at it, but haven't decided, and I can't remember who they are.
Do you guys still do, if they don't school on Monday, do you do school Friday?
We haven't in the last couple, my first year here, we did that where we shifted them, and the heavy feedback from staff was we never get a holiday. cause you always have a 4-day week. Like, everybody else gets a holiday on that week, and then you go to school 4 days shifted, and so they never get a true week
But
with that one, yeah.
But there's also other things, like enrollment on those Fridays was
Was
really
low,
low.
yeah.
Like attendance, I mean, not
Yeah.
enrollment, but attendance was really low because like people, you know, get used to not going on Fridays, students do,
Yeah.
so.
So we, not my first year, but the rest of the years have, if there's a Monday off, we go 3 days that week. And it's worked out, I think, pretty well, so, and then Fridays are only PD days, so there's 5 of, well, somewhere between 5 and 7 of those throughout the year. Some are embedded in service, some are actual Fridays. So 4 of the Fridays, what number? I should look at my computer, I can't say far. 18.
Wait, before we go
Yeah,
forward,
yeah.
talking about that.
The Labor Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
How do we decide?
So
I mean, like, we need to take into account the staff input and then.
But associations have to approve the calendar,
They do.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so
they
like,
do.
we have to all move together on it, is the
Yeah, they
tricky
usually
part.
approve it first and then we approve it.
Yeah,
But I'm just thinking like, what if half of them want, you know, like, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
wanna start early and half of them wanna start later. So
Coin toss.
basically, yeah, like, yeah, coin toss. I'm wondering like, do we present, it looks like you did present one version of it here. And that, so like, they'll either be willing to approve that or not, so that's already in their hands.
Yeah.
And then if they come back and say, no, we really wanna start after, then we can say, okay, you gotta approve that, and then we would,
Yeah.
move on that.
come back
Okay.
with the other version,
Is there
like,
any reason that the board cares? I don't care personally, I mean, I have my personal, like, family preference, but that doesn't have weight. As a board member, I don't care unless does it have any effect on, like, sports,
Oh, like,
yeah, cause like daily doubles and stuff like that, like you start with that at a certain date and you can only do this many of them, you know, like,
yeah. Probably, I'll take that to Carrie,
yeah.
that hasn't come up in the conversations,
So
so
from
I'll make sure
coaches, I would
she's-
think that would matter.
Yeah, and then, each year, if we decide something different than Sayusla, sometimes I'll get a call from a family about, or, you know,
Mhm.
like a reach out on that, so really that's the only thing that's, in the last 3 years, that's all that's come up is like, how come you guys have this date different than Sayusla, that impacts
Right.
X, and I'm like, sorry.
Right, like
So-
your family vacation trip that you would.
Yeah.
Other,
Yeah, somebody's
friends
missing
from
school because,
Yeah.
because of it too, yeah.
there. Mhm.
But it's pretty rare who's impacted by both, you know,
Yeah.
so,
Right.
sports is a good, I'll take that to Carrie.
Okay, and are there any other considerations that we would, have as a board? Does anybody care and how would, like, would we get something back from the unions that we as a board would be like, oh no, we're not gonna approve that, we really want it to, or need it to be this other one? I can't think of anything.
I think so.
Okay, then, I think I'll go in this order, but I started talking about the PD days, so 4 of these, not October 2nd, but, September 18th, December 4th, February 5th, and May 7th are aligned with all the small rurals to continue the rural collaborative, which we're excited about and have got strong feedback on. And part of the design let me say that differently. One of the biggest asks from both classified and certified staff engaged in that is to be able to get out to other districts and see some of the work they're talking about in action and do a learning walk, right? Like when you have a big campus, you get to go see team teach something that you're working on, and in small districts, you don't get to do that, so, there's a big ask to embed that and be part of it. And we're gonna make that happen sometime in October, November, and then another round in March, April is the design we're working on. I had a thought and proposed this and it impacts it impacts certified staff more, but classified staff would benefit from it, so, anyway. I say that because the PD days are more certified than classified, but, this October 2nd date, if we put that into the middle of a week, and this is something we've never done, but, I've proposed October 14th, because it's already a late start day, to make that a PD day. And that would give a day where everybody else around us is in school, all the rural districts are in school, our staff would be able to get out to their campuses and do those learning walks and build that into the professional development plan. Especially for the first time we do it, so that logistically, the logistic part wasn't the lift, it's the, what do we do when we're there, is the lift. And so I took that to the team. If they don't love it, then we'll land it on a Friday. The only thing I asked was to move it from the 2nd to later in the month, so that it wasn't, really it's so that it's not back to back with this 18th one. I thought later in the month would help us a little bit more.
Well, would we have to, would there be a normal school day on the 2nd, cause we would be swapping it?
Well, so right now so if that's a yes, there are 3 ways to do that. One is that week, go to school on Friday. So we'd do a weird split of like, let's say it was the 14th, and it could land anywhere, but like a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, it could be made up on any Friday during the year. Or there's this last idea goes with a second proposal that's on the table from the certified staff. And it'd be to add a day to this last week, since lots of people are going to school that week anyway. So, it doesn't make sense to add 1 day solo, but each year they've come back and asked about having one of the PD days on January 4th, so that when we come back from the 2-week break, we have a chance for collaboration and thoughtful planning, and then enter Tuesday well planned, versus having those 2 weeks off and hitting the ground running Monday. Quite a few districts do that and have a PD date there on the Monday returning, and each year it gets asked, and then, but a real proposal hasn't come through in those years, right? It's like a question, and I will say every January 4th people ask about it, or every Monday, it's not always January 4th, I guess. People ask about it for the next year, like, is that a thing? So, this year when it came to us in the request, I was like, well, it was at the same time I had this idea for this October date, and it was like, well, if we did both of those and put those 2 student makeup days on the 14th and 15th here, we always do a half day here to end school, and then we do the student fun day, like it's really like, it turns into fun day and cleaning up the school. There'd be kind of a nice separation. As we got talking about it, there were a lot of pros to say, well, we could maximize learning through this last week of school, and then have like the all school field trip for elementary on the 14th, and the fun days, half day stuff on the 15th kind of thing, that were separate from finishing out the learning part. And grading day, in all honesty, I think could still stay on the 11th, but anybody who wanted to still take work the 14th and 15th could still have grades due the 16th and take it that day, so. So that was the second proposal that we kind of matched those two, to say, hey, this idea of an in-week PD day and, well, I guess 2 in-week PD days, if we look at it that way, could be tacked on to the end of the year. I have no clue if they'll, like, once they sit down and talk about it, I don't know where it'll land, but in initial discussions, there were a lot of pros identified as we got to, that none of us expected when we started talking about it, but as we got to, I was like, actually, that's not as bad as it sounds. So, that's what's on the table right now.
Yeah, I like that better than
A Friday.
than 2 Fridays or something like
And
that.
I would say across the, like, at least in our right, I just meet with one person from each association, but in those conversations, I would say that it seems like a better option than Fridays, so. And like, people are, in the county are still going to school that week, so for at least 2 years, it doesn't not make sense. After that, to be going the week after probably wouldn't, and we'd need to revisit where, if it made sense, but Jaren and I looked up next year's and it's pretty similar. And, where's January? New Year's falls really late in the break too, like, it's not on the weekend, but
Right.
if you're doing anything for New Year's, you're you're still cleaning your house on the weekend and like not really ready for Monday yet. Yeah, so pulling confetti out of your boots. Actually, that's on February 5th too.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so, the only thing then is like, interesting, and I don't, we're taking 2 extra days, off and away in the middle of the year, off from regular instruction time. But like, we are starting the year early and ending it late then.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I don't care, like, it doesn't, but that is just like something that is worth people thinking about, like, it's adding on both ends, but it is, then there's more space in the middle, opens up.
So those are we wrote up a page that's shared that kind of names this as decision points, so like, if yes, then pick this, if no, then move here, kind of thing. So by next month, we'll have what they came up with to bring to you guys.
Okay.
So, but I didn't want that all to be a surprise when we're asking to vote on it, so I wanted to show everybody.
Yeah, that's helpful.
Yeah.
Any other questions? This is kind of a lot to think about. Any other questions about the calendar?
I didn't look at, can you scroll to November?
Yep.
Okay, Veterans Day is Wednesday. Are we proposing doing it the same way that we did this year?
It seemed to land well with the celebration, we got positive feedback across the, so right now that's what that proposal is.
Okay.
Yep.
How's the board feel about that? I start off personally that I really thought it was great. It was really cool to get the opportunity to participate in that recognition and celebration, and
I thought that was great.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to check, cause.
Yeah, and I haven't heard anything from community asking about changing it for next year.
Right.
Like, even close to it, it wasn't like, yeah, that was great, but, there wasn't any, and there were plenty of positive, like, thank you, and that went well, but not a single ask to change it
Right.
back.
Right.
Yeah.
And Adam, do you know do you know the history behind that? Just really quick, sometimes like if Veterans Day is on the Monday, right? Cause it's always the 11th, so that changes the day of the week. And so if it's on a Monday, that would kind of be an easy, like, cause if there's other Monday holidays, okay, we take that as a holiday and, whatever, but when it moves every year and it's in the middle of the week, it becomes like this kind of weird thing, like it was on Tuesday this year, I think, Brandon, so do we take it on go to school Monday, take the holiday Tuesday, but then a lot of times you don't get anybody showing up on Monday because they're doing like a long family weekend or whatever it is, stuff like that. So there's a lot of talk about the pros and cons, and it was important to like make sure that we're using that data to recognize what it's designated for and everything. So last year we did have school, but the first year we did have school, 2 years ago, we did have school, but hadn't really done a lot of like pre-planning and thinking about like, okay, that means, what does that mean? How do we wanna handle making sure that we.
Because previously, the years before that, it was on the weekends.
Yeah.
So or it was on a Friday, so like, did it
Friday,
impact-
Saturday, Sunday, Monday,
It
yeah.
didn't impact until it
Right.
all of a sudden showed up in the week, and then
Yeah.
people were a little bit upset, even though the decision to go to school on Veterans Day had been made years prior, 2 years
Right.
prior.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then last year we, had this discussion when we made the calendar and decided to have it be a school day, but to plan some really intentional celebrations and recognition and stuff, and then we did that this past year. So
Which was received pretty well.
the feedback, I've heard good feedback, and it sounds like everybody else has too.
I should name, I forgot about this, but, so President's Day, which was this week, Monday, but is green up here, the 15th, is an unpaid holiday and could be a student day. So we talked to, like, when we named that with both associations, we said, hey, with changing Veterans Day, we don't know if changing President's Day also is the right idea. And so it is third option for a makeup day that's not a Friday.
Right. But it's always a Monday, so it's a little different.
At least you know where, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
different.
So, but it did come up as like, that is a date that could be a student, school day in the year that's not a Friday.
Yeah.
So, but we all three named it as third priority.
Yeah.
So,
Got it.
or third, yeah, I don't know if that's third option,
Yeah.
thank you.
Mhm.
So,
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so we talked about the big start, the PD Day in the middle, the Monday after break, and then Veterans Day. Anything else anyone wants to talk about on the calendar? For now, again, the teachers or the staff, everybody's gonna look at it, and we're not gonna vote on it until next month.
Well, graduation would still stay on the 5th, even if we went to school that next week.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, senior there's no reason we have to change that, right? Yeah, senior instructional required hours is significantly lower, so
Yeah.
we'd be fine there.
Okay.
Any other public comment come in since? No.
Somebody said they want tacos too. I just made that up, but it would have been funny. Yeah.
Any board comments? Anything else?
One more question, just maybe we could think about this. I know I heard you say you're gonna meet with Adam and figure out an onboarding time.
Yep.
But, we have in the past, when we get a new board member, and we did this when Abby came on, and like, I know we've done it maybe when you came on too, but like, we've tried to do it with new board members, is have an OSBA
Yeah.
training. And I think it's really a good thing, cause it's a refresher for those of us who've had it before, and it's a good thing for those who haven't had it at all. So.
Sounds like March and maybe April with charter are pretty full. Do you want me to ask about May?
Yeah, I mean, that's
Does
fine.
that timing work? Okay,
Like,
or even April, May?
Yeah.
I'm gonna avoid March if you guys are good with that.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, there's a lot going on there.
Yeah. Okay, so like a board, an OSBA training.
Yeah,
What's her name? Janet? I'll see if she's still.
Yeah, that'd be great.
This is just something put on by SPA.
yeah, so OSBA, well, they will sometimes, I mean, they have different programs and different trainers, and it has changed, but like generally they do like some sort of like general board, like board education, just generally like here's how a board is, here's the boards, all the just sort of very high level overview of what boards do, how they operate, what they should do, like I don't know, that kind of stuff. And it's a nice way to just kind of make sure that we remember are on the same page, and especially if somebody new who has never had that before, so. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, April, May, that'd be great. Thank you. Anything else? Anything from anybody else? How do you feel?
There's a lot, but,
I said it wasn't gonna be very long, and this is one of
Yeah,
our
we
longer
kept
ones,
going.
I'm sorry.
but like, I hope, it's probably reinforced, like, within the next meeting, and, yeah.
Good, yeah, well, Andrew, will be back the next meeting too, so we're a normal, like, group, and so yeah. Well, she's here, but it's not in the room. Okay.
Not the same.
It isn't the same, it's not the same, and you get to have food with us in a bit, Okay, so if there's nothing else, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I move to adjourn the meeting.
You wanna second it out?
Second.
Yay,
Okay,
first action.
all those in favor, it would be so awful if someone opposed. Okay.
Yes.
I know,
Let's
let's
stay
see.
here
However, I love it.
Alright, so meeting adjourned at 6:37 PM.
Okay, just